Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to RimWorld Survival. So before I get going, about half of your comments was about how I killed my own power grid. One thing I'm going to do is actually start embedding the power grid into the wall, so at least it can't burn. It could still be hit by sappers or attackers, but at least it won't burn. I feel like something went a little haywire with my save game file, because that's not what Kazumi normally looks like. What? Alright, well, I mean, that's a good look, right? Not that I might have much choice, but, interesting enough. That's something that's been going on, at least in my games. Alright, so let's go get this little piece of the cable at least reconstructed. And then, our power will fill right back up. Turn this off. It'll fill right back up because, we're gonna have a lot more power in the grid now that it has a clear connection. And then, like I said, I'm going to be embedding in the wall. I could leave both. Redundancy is a good thing, but... Alright, let's do a quick med check. Poppy and Tony are probably the ones that really need to be restricted. So, Poppy and Tony. Everybody else is kind of near the needing to be restricted, or not everyone, but a lot of others. So this anti-sap tunnel is just about done. At this point, we're waiting for power armor. Our brawlers need a nice new set of power armor, and then just a decent surplus of materials before we go ahead and pull the trigger on... I'll leave that bed. Before we pull the trigger on the full scale turning on the invasion. So taking a look at my materials, my power plasteel is about at 0. Yeah, that's not particularly great. I think what I'll do is I'll set Semph here to no radiation. And... I'm gonna set up... So, Janes, you're on limited radiation. What I think I'm going to do is remove this area, oddly enough, from limited radiation. And that way, Janes goes to dig at the deep drill up here. And Semph stays down here. And then I'm going to set up one more deep drill. And that way, Agro, when he doesn't have materials to do anything, can, mine. I also received some feedback from you guys. So another one is about my sandbags. The sandbags out here are set up for limited radiation, but what's happening as a result is my characters are pathing on it, which is not something I particularly want. Oops. So the idea was to keep the walls on, so we keep the walls nice and repaired, and I can keep those sandbags. But the rest of these sandbags out here should not be on limited radiation because people are walking on it, and that's not going to be healthy in the long run. Not at all. Didn't I move this turret? I'm fairly certain I did. Thought I had it installing somewhere else. I think I'm going to, given the amount of people that spawn down here, I'm going to install it right there. If you have one area covered by 2 turrets, and this part of the wall right here isn't covered at the moment, but if you have one area covered by 2 turrets, it's less, the priority to break into it is going to be lower than an area covered by 1 turret. So the likelihood that they break into my tea house will be even lower, which is exactly what I'm aiming for. Alright, so we've got that deep drill. And I'm just going to install it right up there. We are losing some of the surplus of clothing that we had. But as soon as this cotton plant becomes harvestable, we'll be good again. Just sort of looking at everything I've got. Alright, Cephalo, you building a... nope. You looked like you were building the cables, but you lied to me. Alright, so this mini turret does need a little bit of repair, but that should be pretty easy. Agro, now that there is... You have a few components to make, because we just crafted up a, another deep drill and peace talks. Now, Goka of the Thicket I enjoy being at war with. So one of the things I was planning on doing is crafting up 3 new sets of power armor, and then having this power armor as backup if someone gets particularly damaged. And we are smelting all the weapons that I had been staring at for a long, long time. There's still some more weapons over here. Some of them, the assault rifles in particular, I'm going to have to decide probably to smelt. We don't need a lot of backup assault rifles. At this point, we have 4. So the quality of the assault rifles I have is good, normal, and good. So I wouldn't mind a few better assault rifles just for accuracy's sake. There we go. Thank you, Cephalo. Never thought I'd be saying that. So I'm going to mine these out and replace them with walls. And then another thing I was going to do, I'm just going to throw a steel door in because they're quick to manufacture. Throw in a steel door there to cover the cable, but then leave it open. Alright, 11 just got herself a trip to No Rat Down. Gonna make sure we don't have limited duration assignments out here that we don't really want. Alright, there goes James. How much granite? I have plenty of granite. And this way we'll be able to bury much of our cable, so it won't be able to just be set on fire and, yeah, have it get destroyed in that way. Alright, so we've got double the plasteel up here. That should help towards the requirement of the power armor. And then through just simple zoning, Semph is the only one. Semph, you can go back to mining. Because he's the only one that's going to be able to reach that drill. My primary batteries are nicely charged up. Gonna power off my chem fuel. And then start charging up the backup batteries. And we got a solar flare. So, I am not going to take any chances. I'm gonna harvest now. Oh, I don't need to harvest the heal root. Heal root isn't killed off by cold, but I'm gonna harvest my, my cloth. It's sort of sad to me that I finally got my power grid somewhat stabilized and then, you know, solar flare. Guys. Oh, it's the rec hour. I was like, that's not harvesting. Now, if you check, it's 10 degrees out, and the core of the base here is still in the 50s. This farm in particular is still 55. It's pretty well insulated as far as parts of my base goes. And as you can see, we managed to harvest it all before it all died. Perfect. I don't know if this rice plant's going to be lucky. There's nothing really to do. I mean, it's not harvestable. It's not grown enough. So it's probably going to die from the lack of power. One of the real disadvantages of hydroponics is if you used... oh, there we go. Just barely survived. If you use natural soil, all you'd have to do is throw in like a campfire in there, and it keeps the plants alive. But if you use hydroponics, because the basin's powered off, you know, it kills the plants essentially. Nope. Not really looking to add to our number. Alright, there we go. We are making some backup clothing. I'm going to make 2 dusters. Alright, James is getting a nice, healthy supply of plasteel there. And then the amount that we need for the marine armor is about 100. Now, I actually don't want a giant surplus. Oh, when we make meds, we should drop them. Why did we not take to temp crafting? I don't really know. No, there we go. I think it might have been full from clothing or something like that. We are getting a somewhat ridiculous amount of animals, if you ask me. Our boom rats are super replicating. I think they're going to be pretty helpful as far as baiting out doomsday launchers and that sort of thing. So I'm okay with the amount that we're getting, but yeah, I'm definitely... It's something to be aware of, that we're building up a giant farm. So each marine armor is 100 plasteel. It's kind of a high price, but that's alright. Getting some spare flak armor, or flak vests. Kazumi has a purple one. Tony needs one. 11 acid. So I think what I'll do is, for the restrictions, for the assignments here, brawlers should not have brawler. Oh, they don't. They have shield, okay. I was like, they shouldn't have flak vests because they won't ever need them. They'll be inside power armor, marine armor. But it's already set up like that. Alright, battery backups are nice and full. Flick that off. Semph. Oh, no path. Alright, let's fix this. I'm just trying to make some battery backup space. But forgot that you can't really path through a battery. Alright. That looks good to me. Nice and illuminated. I'm not really looking forward to having to live in that barracks, but it is safer. Another medical emergency, so you're on NORADs. Alright, and the purpose of this mining is just to embed the cables further so that they can't be disturbed by attackers. Now, I think one thing I might end up doing is, yeah. You'll see. I'm moving basically my beacon for security purposes. Oh god, James, why are you mining from this end? Because it is valid. That's why. Alright, James, mine from that end. It will be a lot less irradiating. Alright, so I've punctured a hole, obviously, in my, my defenses here, but that's going to become a door. Actually, yeah, James, you don't really need to make the door. Someone else can. That's not all that important. You have a unique skill of mining. So... wow, I am really cutting through my bug supply quite quickly, might I add. I'm relatively surprised. I mean, we have a lot of meals here, obviously. I'm trying to stock up enough meals that I won't need to cook during the, let's call it the end times. Oh, I guess we did get rid of those assault rifles. Neat. Hope they were inferior to the ones I was using. Item stash quests. Garbage. Don't care. Okay, everybody's a little irradiated. There is a first marine armor. Yep. Symph. You should be on no rads. Even though I don't think he's all that irradiated, the purpose is to keep him at the steel deep drill, and then let the, you know, because the amount of, or the amount of materials that you get is somewhat determined by, oop, another one's gonna have to be, no rads. I'll move him in a second. Once it gets down, no rads for you. Mr. Safalu. Come on, who's making this wall? Guys. Right, I'm gonna have Kazumi do it. Now, I also have a dire luciferium need. This, I'm well aware of. I have 3 doses left, so I was thinking about this. I really don't have trading nearby. Like, Dingahat is the closest. Now, other than Eos, but Eos doesn't have much. This whole planet doesn't have a lot of people that I can trade with, to be honest. Which means potentially having to do some dumpster diving in Ancient Dangers, which is super ancient dangerous. And if that's the case, that's the case. And I think it is actually the case that I'm gonna have to do that. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting up some cables so that my orbital trade beacon can spawn them sort of on this side of the marsh, giving me a lot of time. I had a comment about why I don't just have a beacon in the middle of my kill box, or at the start of my kill box, so that when people target the beacon to pod in, they just immediately get shredded. That sounds like a good idea, right? Now imagine that the people that pod down have a bunch of doomsday launchers, and they pod in, let's say they pod in right here. Those doomsday launchers are going to get shot at all of my defenses, way before my defenses can kill that doomsday launcher specifically. And it also doesn't give me enough time to use something like an Insanity Lance or Shock Lance to incapacitate the doomsday launcher. So essentially, I've just enabled a raider to fully destroy my defenses for the low cost of one dude, right? And during the reactor raids, I'm probably going to have to defend against dozens, hundreds of guys. So yeah, that would be pretty bad. The purpose of having it be far away is the further away the pod raiders land, the more options that you have, because the more time it will take for them to get to your base. So, they originally landing here, and generally would have to path to the kill box. That gives me a little bit of time to play with. But if they land here, they have to go all the way around. And ideally, like, I mean, it wouldn't even be a terrible idea to have them land. You know what? That's actually a really good idea. Let me do that. I'm going to run all sorts of cable here through these caves. I'm going to make them land, like, in the remote area of nowhere. Because I can. Now, the other thing is, because the whole map is irradiated, you wouldn't want to set up your beacon so that you can't get to it very easily. Even setting it here, defensively this is a better spot, but for trades this is obnoxious. I'll just put it like that. Okay, this is all overhead mountain, so minus this one tile, so it's not like raiders could land in there anyway. The reason why this is obnoxious is if I have a trade, let's say I buy something, I don't want whatever I buy to land up here. I'd have to caravan it back. I mean, that's okay if I have to caravan it, but it is a long run. Toxic fallout. Cool. I said half-heartedly. I mean, I suppose it really doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be outside much anyway. Janes, your mood is looking... Oh, you were probably just mining for too long. Alright, so for radiation, I'm gonna unrestrict everybody except for Cefalu. He was the last person to get super irradiated. And everybody else, I'm hoping, will do long range. We'll basically build this cable. Now, another thing I need to do about this cable is, once we have the cable laid out, I need to put some firewalls in. Oh, man, Stormy, you are already... Alright, you're going home. I need to put some firewalls in because I don't want a fire to catch here and travel all the way up the cable and basically ruin all that work. So I'll put some doors in to stop, you know, fire spreading so violently. How are we doing on the... Oh, yeah, marine armor's coming along. For now, I'm going to set up, leaving these doors open so we can just access that wall a little bit more easily. So now, pretty much all the power cables that I need is embedded in the wall, so they're not likely to get severed easily. Toxic fallout nuclear winter. What a good combo. Name a better duo. I dare you. Yeah, go Poppy! Wait. Alright, we're getting pretty far. Thinking. So I also want a rather large yield of cloth. I need to put the carpets back in the bug trap. So that's another high priority task. No, just construct it. Hate when they deliver it and not construct it. Alright, Acid, you need to be on no rads. Rosie's pregnant again. feel like a boom rat breeder. I basically am, I suppose. I haven't really done much in the way of planning for my Luciferium bust. So after... Oh, I already have a armor. So I think... I don't love this. Form Caravan. Agro is the perfect person to go try to find ancient dangers. Because he doesn't have a lot of radiation right now. But it's going to suck for him. So let me get a bedroll cranked out before I send him out. Now there would be... Oh, man. Double strand bedroll. Plain leather. Nope. Light leather. Nope. I don't even have the cloth for it. Unless I make a double strand one, which seems a little extreme. Where is my Lucy is at 1. Oh, crap. On a stick. So... In a extreme scenario, I could use these ancient cryosleep caskets to toss my addicts in. Just a reminder, I have 2 addicts. Let's take a look at their health right now. So we've got... She's going to need Luciferium... Kazumi's going to need a Luciferium dosage relatively soon, to be honest. And Jane's won't. He just dosed himself. So, I have about 6 days to get Luciferium. That is the approximate amount of time. So, I think that... man. 15... I don't think I can make enough patch leather to... get out of this, not enough for a bedroll situation. Unless I butcher some of my... Oh, now there we go. Okay, so let's make a patch leather bedroll. Says not enough story, but I know that's not true. Agro, you're just going to build it. Semph, let's get you off of that. Actually, you can stay on that drill. That's fine. Uninstall this. And... work. You are going to form Caravan. Agro. We're going to send you with lavish meals because they're just not going to decay. 20. Should be fine. Some wake up. Some teas. Some beers. Do I have beer? I certainly have hops. Well, maybe my beer is runneth dry. The bedroll that I went to lengths, extreme lengths to make. And let's travel just to a nearby tile looking for ADs. Now the real issue is once I get there, I'm going to have to figure out... Okay, you are... Okay, that exit's not terrible. I'm going to have to figure out how to dig into a mountain towards them. You know, I'm going to have to subterraneanly mine my way there. I don't have a lot of time. I could, of course, just toss my guys into the the caskets here. And these caskets more or less have been left alone. Raiders have come and gone, and they've... I guess I would repair a little bit of walls, but they should be alright. Plus, even if they destroy the caskets, unless they set the whole room on fire, which the room is all tiled up, you know, I don't know. Better than dying from Luciferium, I suppose. So we'll try to get some doses. Usually, I would say like 90% of Ancient Dangers have doses in them, so that should be okay. Agro, you also are going to need to be able to eat those meals. So let's go lavish meals. That'll help. Kazumi is about to take the last Lucy. Another thing I might be able to do is to try to run a trade up north and see if they have refreshed their trade offerings and buy some Luciferium just with the little money that I have. I'd be able to send them some art as well if need be. But, alright, Agro's almost there. So, here is Kazumi. You should, if I am not incorrect, be taking the last Lucy now. Yep, here she goes. So, her Luciferium needs full. Jane's is about 6 days away from death and insanity. Alright, generating a new map tile. And let's hope that we can find an accessible ancient danger relatively easily. So, first things first, form caravan, you. Choose route. Keep a close eye on your health. It is an ancient danger. Perfect. And is this... It's already overhead mountain. Perfect. Alright, so you are going to be restricted... Okay, you are going to consume some wake up. And I'm going to have him mine manually a little bit more. Before I release him. Because I need... Stop going out there. I need space for him to be able to put stuff down. No. Don't do that. Oh. That's not hopeful. Alright, so you are going to be removed from caravan, stuck to area 1. And I want to mine towards the steel here. This is almost a perfect situation here because I'm going to be able to get my hands on some steel. The other issue is... Alright, you're good until 0 degrees. So I don't think I'll be getting hypothermia. And once I get to the steel, I can then set up a door and all that jazz. So let's set up a steel door. Yeah, this is honestly... I mean, it might not have Luciferium in it, but it is honestly a perfect scenario where right where he lands, I could set it up. Let's take a look at the rest of the map. If there's any other ADs, because I don't know how much Lucy I'm going to need. Looks to be an AD there as well. And I'd be able to mine down and around, or just pod there or something. We'd have to figure it out. Okay. Keep on mining. And the next thing I'm going to do is, I should have brought a little wood for torch, so he's not constantly in the dark. But what I could do is a little steel stool and a steel table and put a stockpile here and my dump here. Organize home a little bit so he can relax, get a little recreation. I know it's very hideous there. And then another thing I need to do is to set up a way to crack into this ancient danger safely, which is easier said than done. So I think I can unrestrict him and just keep the door forbidden. Not like he's going anywhere. Oh, but you're standing... Never mind. Never mind. You proved me wrong. Literally immediately. I love that. Alright, so this is the, yeah. This kind of sucks. Let's toss a steel wall in there. I'm not paying attention to anyone else at this moment. Let me just double check on them over here. So, our cable lines... looking pretty good. We have most of the steel laid down. We fortunately have not had a bug problem for a bit. We are super low on steel, however. So, deep drills. Mr. James. We are going to go back to mining steel, not plasteel. So I think Senf is skewed to... No. Hold that over. Okay, back to you. I have to make sure I'm only mining out where it's safe to mine out. And I'm building up my steel. Another thing I'm going to want is to find a place that I can stash some stuff. So I'm going to make a deadfall trap run here as best as I can. Oh, that's not good. I'm sure there's other steel around. Yep, there is. Alright, to be honest, that's probably enough steel. I'm going to cancel these. If I need more, I can get more. So now I need a place to stash my stuff. So where's Senf? Oh, James is still up there. So there's no steel here. Let's, I don't feel great about putting it there, but let's put it there. Okay, so now, stockpile zone here. This is going to be tricky. And then my dump stockpile here. It's hard to tell with all my overlays what exactly is going on. Alright, so now that's not in the way. Let's do a steel door here. I really hope his mood holds, because this is definitely a very sad project to work on. So now what I need is to mine out 2 runs like this. I need to mine all of this out. So I crack into the Ancient Danger, and then I exit and have them get deadfall trapped. Extraordinarily deadfall trapped. And what is my ETA? I still have a little bit of time looking at Jane's here. Alright, Janes, you're going to be on no rads so that you mine that steel. No, that is not in Area 1. And it's sleeping. Man, that is an ugly color. Medical. I think I'm going to keep 11 restricted. She's about to hit the warning. And acid's currently restricted. Okay. How is my cable? Oh, they've laid out all the cable now. They just need to construct it. Please, Tony. Tell me. Guess what, Tony? You are going to be zone restricted. Just so I can get this done. There's no point in running out here and laying down one cable. That drives me bonkers. Alright, so we got this massive cable. Let's go into the power overlay and make sure it's... Yep, alright. It is one long cable. We have a lot of marble. I don't really need these doors to be all that tough. The purpose of these doors is just so that if my cable's set on fire, I don't end up with a massive, long stretch of cables that need replacing. Also sort of helps to prevent raiders from being able to move around very easily. Alright, so that's good enough. And then the last thing here is a limited radiation zone. Let's put it here. Did I put that right? Yep. And get that done, and then we'll move the beacon. Operation Luciferium. I really hope that bugs don't upwell there. In fact, you know, that actually might make me uncomfortable enough to warrant me mining somewhere else. Just because if they upwell here, all of my, all of these infinite chem reactors probably get destroyed. Not thrilled about that. So this is also steel, no surprise. So we'll turn that on. Agro's up. And now for securities. And then what I'll do is not allow him to stand on the old traps. Now, ideally, someone like 11 that has a shield belt and power armor would be the one to trigger this, so I actually might do that. Mental breaks. I don't like to see mental breaks. Mental breaks are very dangerous out on Radsville here. Rad is in radiation. Now, I don't know what's in here, so... I'm going to want to over-trap rather than under-trap. And I'm going to need a little bit more steel. Oh, cargo pods coming down on this tile. Not all that helpful. Alright, let's get a little bit more steel mined up. Bummer. So here's some of the cloth run. I think at this point, I'm going to make all of this cotton, just so I can replace the carpets. No. I can also uninstall these traps as they get constructed. And then reinstall them when it's time. Because this one obviously is going to block me from my own bed, so... uninstall and forbid. So someone with the shield belt really should do the opening, just in case there's like a lancer sitting on the other side, or something really dangerous like that. And I think the easiest way to do that is to send one more person in to do the openings. Okay. But this is looking good. I would say at this point, I'm just about out of time. So next episode, we'll be cracking into the Ancient Danger and seeing what's there. If you have any tips, tricks, feedback for me, drop me a line. I'm really eager to hear what you have to say about the in-game raids. I might need really all the good advice I can get. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting this series through dozens and dozens of episodes. If you're still watching now, you probably watched till the end, and I'll try to make it exciting for you all. Adios.